Hey, yeah, I'm here. It's holiday week. Hey, if you find yourself waking up with some holiday gloom, today's the show you want to hang out on. Dr. John Page, myself, Jon Andersen, CMartyFit. We're talking holiday gloom during the holiday season this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab where
When something negative comes up.
Build a muscle to blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're just
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? That is.
There we go. There we go. We're back at it, guys. The loop begins on the holiday week. It's Monday. Good morning, nation. Good morning. There we go. Dr. John Page joining us here this morning. Charlie Lass, Ioana, Jon Andersen, CMartyFit producer Jimmy, producer Walter, the whole crew. I'm your host. I'm Keith Bilous. I'm here mornings live with Keith and friends, the only morning show to get your ass out of bed. Think a little bit of men's health, a little bit of men's journal, mix in some Howard Stern, a little bit of FM radio. Bring it to life in 2024 with some AI, and you got the Mornings in the Lab crew with myself, Johnny, Marty. Hey, it's going to be a fun week this week. Going to keep it light, going to keep it light as we're all getting through the holiday season here. And yeah, we're going to have some fun with the crew here. So, Jimmy, let's bring up Johnny. Let's see how the Christmas tree experience went with Jon Andersen this weekend. What's going on, brother?
what's up, baby?
How are you, man? How was the Christmas tree? I've been wondering how the Christmas tree went this weekend, Mr. Andersen. How did it go, brother?
Well, what we did is we set it up, so it's up. But what we're doing is we're actually we're decorating it with the girls today.
Oh, so that's today. Oh, I see. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're doing it in stages then, right? It was up one.
Well, it was kind of like, the tree, Terry liked to have this perfect tree, and the fucking thing is like 12 feet tall. It's like this undertaking, a full-blown fucking ladder where I'm on the top of this goddamn 10-foot step ladder, reaching out, trying to put the star on there. I'm like, I'm gonna take it. But the tree's big enough. If I fell, I would just land on top of the tree. I'd be fine. but it's a big under. Normally, it takes her a solid 10 days to get it dialed in. And with her shoulder being banged up from her dirt bike accident, still hurting her, I said, look, let's just set it up. And when the girls come, we'll do like when they were kids, and we'll just all do it as a family. And that was actually a really, for her, that was a good thought. Took a lot of pressure off her. So it was plus, you didn't fucking get me doing so much of that shit, which is I enjoy it with my family. I don't give a shit about doing it by myself.
Yeah, listen, I hear you, man. I Lauren and Brookie put through a few weeks back. Lauren wrapped gifts yesterday, man. 6 hours of gift wrapping. Yeah. She started at 3. She was done at 9:30. She just wrapped away. Santa Claus made his appearance here, wrapping gifts from Santa, of course. You got to make sure that the wrapping paper for Santa is different than the wrapping paper for mom and dad. You know how that works.
Well, I told Terry this year, I said, look, because she does the same thing.
Yeah.
And she'll spend so many hours. I said, listen, buy those little goddamn bags, the decorative bags, in all different sizes. And all you got to do is take a piece of tape and put it on the top and close it. Done. Let's save a whole lot of grief and time. Because you keep in mind, she's still doing the best she can, but her shoulder still hurts her a lot.
So hold on a second here, Andersen. Are we going to get into the discussion about bags or wrapping first thing in the morning? You're already talking bags. So I don't know if I'm into the bag thing, man. Like bag seems like the lazy Christmas experience.
Bag is, you know what the bag is? It's to make sure that my lovely wife doesn't have to go through a whole lot of torture wrapping fucking presents is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if wrapping presents causes physical pain, they shouldn't wrap fucking presents.
Well, yeah, I said to Lauren, I'm like, if wrapping gifts is stressful, then you shouldn't be wrapping gifts because Christmas is supposed to be fun. That's
Well,
a good
and I say that too. I say the same thing with stress, but I'm not winning that battle. But it's physical pain. I win that battle.
Yes. What's up, bro, Dragon? I see you there. Listen, would you put the whole thing in me? I don't know. What are you talking about, the whole thing? That's just a good question, man. Now, listen, subscribe to the channel. We're a morning show for men. Dr. John Page joining us in about 8 minutes or so. We're going to talk about the doom and gloom during the holiday season here in the lab. Yeah, it's funny, stress, and I'm often talking about with Brookie, Johnny, which she's so focused on doing goodness, like she's playing piano or creating, and she's so focused on doing excellence that if she's not doing excellence, she gets stressed and she gets all worked up and she gets irritated. And I'm like, Brookie, creating is supposed to be fun. If it's stressing you out, we got to look at the creation process because you're not supposed to get anxious through having fun. And it's just interesting teaching our kids that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, then there's a fine line there because you want that creative process to inspire them.
Yes.
But you also want them to have that edge that makes them A, want to finish the project, B, want to excel at what they're doing.
Yes.
So it's this fine hybrid of the two for sure.
Yes. Well, yeah, because it's pushing, nudging them, encouraging them, right? And allowing them to feel what it feels like to keep pushing towards excellence, right? And then
and plus they want to be successful like we are. I know that's something that my kids told me over and over. They said, Dad, and this is when they were young, like early teens, Dad, we're probably not going to be like you. I said, no, you're going to be better than me because you're going to be the best version of you. That's all we need. Yeah.
Oh man, you're opening up a can of worms here with this one, Anderson, because I sometimes good morning, Farrah. I see you there. Good morning, Shinku. Good morning, Bo. Good morning, Lady Drew. Good to see you, Lady Drew, in the comments here this morning. Johnny, I'm telling you, man, the idea of your kids stepping into your shoes or not stepping into your shoes or I got a boy, right? So I get nervous sometimes saying, Carter, the goal is not to be like dad. The goal is not to try to step in dad's shoes. The goal is not to go down my path. You need to do your own thing. I want to support you and et cetera, et cetera. But dude, there's a reality there, Johnny.
Well, and for sure. And I think part of it is because, you have plenty of parents that, I guess not to talk poorly about anybody, that are just very, very regular or very, very average.
Yeah.
Fuck average.
Yes.
But, those parents don't have that problem.
Right.
Because they haven't done anything extraordinary, which means the kids haven't watched something happen that extraordinary, which doesn't put the pressure on them to do something extraordinary, which then breeds this fucking monster population of mediocrity.
Yes.
So we're doing the right thing, brother.
Yeah, you're right. Breeding a population of mediocrity. But I'm going to tell you, Anderson, brother, because I've had to learn this in life. You're right, Shingu, thug average. And you're absolutely right, Lady Drew. I appreciate hanging out with you here this morning. I'll tell you, Johnny, I've had to learn, though, that society needs mediocrity. Society needs average. Society needs folks to, with no judgment, all grace, society needs folks of all kinds, right? We need folks to,
there's never going to be a shortage. There's never going to be a shortage of that. So I think what we got to do is we got to focus on what the world is short. The world is short on people that are out there paving their own way, that are stepping outside their comfort zone. That's what this show's all about.
Yes,
we don't need to send a message. We need more people in the middle. We need more leaders.
Right. Yeah. So where I had a buddy who had to tell me one day, fuck Johnny, I was growing up and he's like, Keith, he goes, not everybody wants to change the world like maybe you do. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, some people are actually satisfied working at the convenience store, working at the grocery store, making $60,000 a year. I'm like, oh, why is that?
And in your mind, what you should have been saying is, I'm glad you're happy with that, but I'm going to start slowly pushing you over here because I don't need to hear that shit anymore.
Well, but he's a great friend of mine who's set the record straight on a number of things. He's like a rock in my life, but he just really kind of shined the light, Johnny, that it's okay, Keith. The world needs all types of folks. And I was like, oh, right. I guess we all need to exist because if we all wanted to climb to the top of Everest, who's going to be the person carrying the bags? right?
And I don't mean to say that there's something wrong with that guy or especially your buddy. I have plenty of those buddies too. The difference is that that he stated his opinion, and the way that he lives his life is going to be different than mine based on our opinions. So there's going to be a little more distance put between us, not because it's like, well, I need you to go over there. It's because I live my life move in this direction. You live your life move in this direction. So that space is going to be created no matter what.
Yes. Yeah.
Like so many of my buddies that were kind of in that space, right? Yeah. That were, they were above that space. They were in the matrix, but kicking ass in the matrix. You know what I mean? And basically they would say, we don't see you unless we're come and do what you're doing. Well, yes, that's kind of because the people that are with me are doing what I'm doing, and we're pioneering new paths here.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's exactly it. It's funny, Johnny, because I was talking to a couple of females over the weekend, and they're like, so what are you looking for like a female teammate? I'm like, well, let's just go through the list here. I said, I started a little company, built some from nothing, sold it for a few dollars. Jon Andersen's accomplished a couple things in his life. Marty's accomplished a couple things in his life. Richie Ingram's accomplished a couple things in his life. So we're not looking for somebody average. We're looking for somebody who's maybe beating the different drum than somebody else. And she looked at me. She's like, oh, how do you describe it? I said, I don't know. You're just going to kind of know. You're going to kind of just know. You're going to kind of know.
One thing that might be helpful is ask them the question we ask everybody on the show, because someone who has done what we've done has some version of their routine. It doesn't have to be morning. Forget, you can just scrap the morning. Just tell me about what's your daily rhythm like? What's your because that will tell us right there. Because the way that someone lives their day-to-day life is what determines their future.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's funny because I've been asking that question and then the responses come back, and then it's like the balloon deflating, eh? Because like, oh, you're normal, and I love you because normal is great. I got nothing wrong with normal. Just looking for the person who is like the 1% out of the 10. So if there's 10 people lining up, looking for that one person who's just maybe kind of on the peripheral over there. So, Lady Drew, I see you.
I'll tell you on that level, brother. One of the reasons why, probably perfect example. I thought what you're doing was cool for sure, but had I, me coming on board had everything to do with feeling as if you two, because you were already here clearly, were living a lifestyle that was going to be conducive to the way I live my lifestyle. If you guys didn't do that, I would have zero interest in being here.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Marty?
What's up, baby? What's going on, man?
Brother.
My brother.
What's going on, man? We back.
This is my brother from another mother. Come on, man.
Exactly, man. Another day in the loop, man.
It's always happiness when I see the boys on the screen here in the morning. I can just be in the crappiest kind of situation, or rolling out of bed, or tired, and then I just know, oh, there's my boys, there's John, there's Marty. It's all good. It's like life's happy again. It's
listen, you can't have bad energy around me. I won't let you.
I know.
I'm gonna make you laugh or something. I'm gonna bring up some shit through where you just gonna have to change your whole mind up.
Lauren looks at me this yesterday. She's like, so how long are you going Christmas morning? And it wasn't the question, are you going Christmas morning? It was, how long are you going Christmas morning? I'm like, of course I'm going Christmas morning. I said, it's going to be a fun week, maybe an hour, half an hour. We're going to play it by ear. I said, I'll be there. Johnny will be there. Marty might be there. Marty will be there, but what's going to hang out?
I'm going to be there.
Yeah, I was going to say tomorrow and the next day. So Eve and Christmas, I got a full 60 minutes for you.
Good. Yeah, exactly. So so my plan this week, boys, was to keep it light, right? We'll show up for our friends that maybe aren't celebrating Christmas, celebrating, different denominations. But for me, it's just like I said to somebody, I got to get up anyway. So Jory's not joining us this morning. As we know, Jory's got her twin sister, and she goes, are you on this week? I said, Jory, I got to wake up anyways. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to get on and grab a cup of coffee and hang out with some folks and start the show. And Johnny, I'm sorry, Marty, we got Dr. John Page joining us here in a couple moments. We're going to talk about holiday gloom because some of us, Marty, struggle with the holiday season, right? And some of us don't like holidays, and some of us, get sad about the holiday season. So Dr. John's going to hang out with us here in a few moments. And see, I got a comment from Lady Drew. I got to read it, boys, but I think it may be a paragraph. So Lady Drew, I got to put my attention over here. So listen, it says, life is about checks and balances and never being fearful. Always know one's true self and step out of one's comfort zone to be and do better. Always enjoy life no matter the challenges. You are always right, Lady Drew, and I always enjoy having you on the show as well. So thanks for hanging out with us in the comments here. and so forth. Hey, before we bring Dr. John Page and Marty, how was the weekend, brother? What happened over the weekend, brother?
Man, it was good, man. I told you I went to the Christmas parties, and that was cool.
Did you build a big back?
I didn't build one, but I did a little bit of activities, though. You can't build one in the weekend, man. So it's going to take some time for that. And that ain't happening. Yeah. That's not happening.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. So, that's awesome.
But yeah, I enjoyed myself, man.
Yeah, good. Did you watch
some football?
Yeah. Did you watch the McMahon, or you said no? I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it tonight and tomorrow, man.
Beautiful. You know what
I'm taking off. I ain't doing nothing besides the show tomorrow and Wednesday.
Nice.
You know what I got nothing but time. Yeah.
I was just cruising the feeds yesterday, and I gotta. This is fucking funny, man. So I spend time on. So here's the news diet, right? I go across X. Drones, orbs. Go to Threads, no drones, no orbs. Go to Instagram, no drones, no orbs. Go to Blue Sky, no drones, no orbs. Go to New York Times, no drones, no orbs. No Washington Post, no drones, no orbs. You go everywhere, there's no drones, no orbs except for on X. I'm like, oh.
Well, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, are you surprised? I'm not surprised at all. I saw drones on TikTok, though. I did see drones on TikTok. Did you see Jonas? Yeah. It's funny, man. I find it quite hilarious. So it's really good. All right, let's keep the show rolling here, boys. Let's Jimmy. I'm gonna get shit from Jimmy if I don't keep this thing going here. So let's get the accountability check in. John's gonna go for a piss. Marty's gonna hang out, and then we're gonna bring back Dr. John Page. We're gonna talk about holiday gloom, sadness. Doesn't have to be sad for all of us, though. No way, baby. No, it doesn't have to be sad for all of us. Listen, think about this. As I have my cup of coffee here this morning. You're losing because you treat wellness as a side quest. Yeah, think about this. You sleep 5 hours, you call it a hustle. You're like, what? You skip workouts because you're too busy. Too busy. No, you choose to be busy. Think stress is just part of the grind. That's not discipline, nation. That's denial. You're just denying it. Yeah, wellness? No, It's not a reward for success. It's the fuel for it. That's what it is. Sleep equals better decisions. Sleep equals not making bad choices in the pantry. Movement creates energy. It creates moments. Managing stress, well, it equals resiliency under pressure. Prioritizing wellness, I'm telling you, it means cutting the crap. Yeah, hang on that for a second. Wellness means cutting the crap. Prioritizing it means cutting the crap even more. So listen, bad habits, toxic people, unrealistic expectations, they're gone. Because if you don't build around what fuels you, everything else, you guys, this week, next week, anything you're working on, it's gonna burn you out. So listen, get your rest. Put your priorities in front of you. Think about wellness not being the reward for success, but think about wellness being the foundation of success. That's your accountability check-in this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Jimmy, let's bring in Dr. John Page. There he is. What's going on, Johnny?
Hey, man.
How are you, pal?
What's up, brother? How are you, brother?
How you doing?
How's Dr. Page today?
I'm doing well. Ready for doom and gloom you're talking about. I don't know how light that's going to be for the week, but
well, we're gonna have a little chat about some doom and gloom here today. So, but before we get into that, I got to see who's in the comments here. I see Walter Thomas over there. I see Lady Drew over there. I see Shinko still there. Farid's still there. So, Dr. Johnny Page, I reached out to you a couple weeks ago. So, as we know, Anderson, we got Johnny Page been on the show a few times, our resident doctor in the lab here. And I said to John a couple weeks ago, Anderson, I said, not everybody gets happy during Christmas season, holiday season, this time of the year. There's some of us, me included, that, and actually last week we learned with our friend Colby Wecker, that sometimes Christmas and holidays and all the expectations, there's the key word, Dr. John Page, all the expectations that come with it stress many of us out. Let's get into the conversation, pal. And I'm hoping by the end of it, you're giving, I'm going to use the word permission for folks that are tuning in to know that it's okay, that you don't got to walk around with a big smile on your face this whole week or next week, that it's okay to be stoic. It's okay to manage your emotions, but
Dr. John, where do you want to start with it today, brother? I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with you today.
Well, most people, when you ask them how they are, they say they're fine, right? How
Yeah.
you doing? How you holding up? I'm
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, well, fine means fucked up, insecure, nervous, and exhausted. That's what it means.
That's a drone answer for sure, brother.
That's
Yeah.
I'm still in that.
And
I'm gonna use it in fitness.
yeah, yeah.
So, is this not the best doctor on the planet, Marty? Yeah, what's fine mean? Fucked up, insecure, nervous, and what's the other one, John?
Exhausted.
Exhausted.
And you may be one of those, you may be three of those, you may be all of them. But when you're saying you're fine, you know, and you lost your father 3 months ago, or you lost your job, or everybody in your team is getting bonuses and you're not, or you got laid off, or whatever happened this year that completely threw your world upside down, you're not fine.
You're not fine.
You're not holding up. You are messed up. You're feeling down. You're not okay. But society and pressure and so forth says, I got to be okay. I've got to put up my front. I got to put my mask on that says I'm handling it. Because if I'm not handling it, well, then I must be weak. But see, that's not really true. You're not weak. You're strongest when you're at your most vulnerable, because that's where the pain is going to help you grow. And so we need to say, you know what? I'm not really fine. I'm kind of struggling along here. And that's how you get out of it, is admitting it, is owning what it is you're feeling.
So, Dr. Page,
brother, I find on that level, I find myself saying, because it's got the last 3 months, man, I've had some hurdles I've been going through. I find myself saying I'm hanging in there instead of, it's either I'm kicking ass, like he said, how you do this morning, kicking ass, man. I'm either kicking ass or I'm hanging in there. I know that it's in my personality not to straddle that middle, but it's very true.
You. And hanging in there
is true that I was going to say that saying fine is like, when you ask, hey, you want to go get some dinner? Sure. No. Yeah. Yes or no. God damn it.
That's right. That's right. I mean, and hanging in there is a legit answer. It means I'm not kicking ass, but I'm hanging in there, which means I still got a grip on things. I'm just not at my best. Yeah. Well, that's an honest answer. But fine is meh. I mean, what? Nah.
It's not even like giving the the person that asked the question any authenticity. It's almost like a shield.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. It is a shield. It's an armor we kind of put up to say, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm feeling like shit, but I don't want to get into it with you. So I'm just going to tell you fine, because sometimes I don't have enough respect for you as my friend to talk about it with you.
Marty,
I wanted to piggyback off Johnny when he said about kicking ass, and we got to define what is kicking ass. So for me, when I'm going through a tough time, I look at kicking ass like if I'm getting through the day, I didn't lose my shit. I'm one step closer to getting out of the situation. To me, that's kicking ass. Yeah. So as long as I'm kicking ass, I can manage, and I could be super positive through it. So a lot of people don't look at kicking ass that way. They might look at kicking ass as, something all the way up here, when it's like you could just take baby steps to work your way out of it and be positive with that.
Dr. John, one of the things that we don't want to do is, Marty walks into the room, I ask him the question, he says, I'm kicking ass. And, then he gives me the response, and it's like the routine response. I get it. Good. Move to the next conversation. I asked Marty the question, how he's feeling. He gives me a real answer. All of a sudden, the air in the room becomes deflated. All of a sudden, the joy in the room that we all came for is like, oh, Marty's dropping truths here. So what I'm getting at here, Dr. Page, is I think us men often struggle with giving the real answer because of what we know is going to come if we give the real answer in the room that we're ready to give the real answer to. Sure. Do you know what I'm trying to say, Dr. John? So how do you give Marty the permission to give the truth?
Well, I mean, some of it's based on relationship. Y'all know each other well, and so if Marty's going to give you that kind of answer, then he's feeling something he's not usually feeling.
Yeah.
Right. And so that should help you to pay attention to say, something's going on with Marty that's not the norm for him. Let's attend to that. And that's an extension of just caring for somebody you care for, your friendship, your spouse, your child, whatever it may be. And so it's incumbent upon you as a man, as a person, to provide the environment for someone to feel, safe and accepted with you, that they can be real with you. Because if they can't be real with you, what kind of friendship do you really have? Right.
I think the balance, though, Dr. Page, for me is not wanting to, and I'm going to suspect this is for many of us. My wife loves Christmas. My kids love Christmas. I don't want to be the curmudgeon. I don't want to be the negative nanny. I don't want to take the weight and the energy and the emotion out of their excitement, out of their joy. So I find myself having to put on a face. There's a lot of guys listening right now going, yeah, I'm just like Keith right now. I'm saddling up next to my wife, putting on the face because that's just what you do. Dr. John, is that just what you do? And is that okay just to do that's just what you do during this time of year?
Well, I like it to what John said earlier about decorating the tree. It's not really his thing, but he enjoys it with his children and his wife.
There you go.
And so he's able to do that. And they probably know that he doesn't like it. Am I wrong, John? They probably know that's not your favorite thing, right?
Yeah, by myself, if someone's asking me to do the tree by myself, they know that's a uphill question for sure.
That's a no-go. That's a no-go for Johnny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes, again, Keith, out of that love that you have for the other person, you can say to them, hey, you know what? This is not really my thing, but because I love you or I care for you or you're my good friend, whatever the context may be, you'll use the proper language.
Yes.
I'm going to do this with you because it's important to you.
Yes.
And because it's important to you, it's going to be important to me. Just know it may not have my full energy, but I am here with you and I'm here for you. That can speak a lot. And it's an honest answer to say, I'm with you, we're together, but it's not my deal, but I will do it with you because I love, care for you, or you're my friend.
I'll be honest with you, Dr. Page. I hold on one second, Johnny. I was always not that guy. I'm going to be honest. I had to learn to become that person.
Yeah.
Page, right? Where I was like, well, no, this is not for me. And I'll use the word narcissist a little bit, where I was like, well, if it's not for me, then it's not about me, which is like, and I would find myself probably in the past wrecking moods, wrecking environments because I was not very kind about it. Didn't have empathy about how you were wanting to treat the situation, and I was making it about me. And I had to learn that, wait a minute, no, actually, if John really loves this and I love John, well, then I'm going to stand next to John and tell John how much I'm going to support him through it. I had to learn how to do that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. It takes some reps. It takes some practice to do it. Yeah.
So Keith, one of the things that and this is just kind of thinking out loud as I hear you talk, I've had to do this myself with lots of different, I guess you'd say, I want to say holidays, but just different time frames and different parts of my different seasons of my life, if you will.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Good choice of words. Yeah.
So I had so many negative associations with those things or places. That's what was holding me back. So what you got to do, what's worked for me, probably worked for you, start recreating the associations. Now you've got, whatever it was before is behind you. Now you've got this beautiful situation. So, start like recreating the associations. Like, when you get up and you have that negative thought about whatever it was, just replace it with, holy shit, I got this family now that loves this and I get to enjoy this with them. Yes. And it's just a matter of reprogramming those, because our brain is just like a muscle. Christ, it's muscle memory, and it's bringing back those negative associations. Reprogram your associations. This whole thing will change.
Well, it's so cliche, but Johnny, Marty, Dr. John, it just comes down to gratitude. And I hate to oversimplify, but I had to learn to be, again, Dr. John, I'll use a role play. I had to learn gratitude if you and I were going through a situation that I just was grateful that I had a chance to put the tree up with you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's to me, which was okay. I get to spend an extra couple hours with Dr. Page today. We get to hang out, have to tell some stories, put the tree up. It's not my thing, but it's Dr. John's thing. And I know how much he enjoys it. And by him and I getting a chance to spend time together, there's positivity in that. But I'm telling you, man, I had to learn that. because I just didn't know that.
Yeah, and John's right on. You got to reframe it, right? You have this picture in a frame, and that whenever you look at that picture in that frame, it's like, oh, that was negative. I hate that. I don't want to do that. But like reprogramming your brain, put a different frame on it, take it from this angle, and you see it as I get to do this with this person.
Yes.
Right. So it's not about so much the activity, whatever it is that you may despise. I mean, it may just annoy the living hell out of you.
Yes.
But you get to do whatever it is with that person. So it's on the relationship, not so much on the activity. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so our focus can be more on the person with whom we are with rather than the activity. Like my wife, John, she loves to wrap presents. I mean, she does them up like Macy's. They are beautiful. I wrap presents like a drunk 3-year-old. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't like wrapping presents. I'd rather just like put it up, wrap it up in duct tape, and here you go. But she likes to do it. I love my wife, so I'm going to be with her in what she's doing so that I can strengthen that relationship. Right?
Brother,
it's about the person, not the activity.
Oh my God. It's like you just literally looked at my yesterday. It's fucking crazy, dude. Crazy. You know, did you get in like some sort of a fucking time portal and come look at me yesterday? Because so my wife and I told her, no, it's hurting her. She has her shoulders banged up. So she's having a hard time wrapping. But there was one present that we couldn't, just too fucking big for a bag. There was no bag big enough.
There you go.
So she said, I got to wrap this one. And so basically, you know, I kind of helped her as a big old fucker. I helped her set it up, you know, and get it started. Then I just grabbed my food and I just sat at the table with her.
Yeah.
And we just hung out and talked while she wrapped, because just like you said, I don't, you know, wrapping that present, I had zero interest. What I had interest in was spending time with my wife, especially when she was doing something that she enjoys, but was very limited doing. So I figured I'd make it even more special by me sitting there bullshitting with her.
Right. Yeah. And now today, the day after, 24 hours later, you have this wonderful memory. I mean, you've got a good, solid, positive memory of doing something with your wife that had really nothing to do with the activity of wrapping, right?
You know, and on that level, what I was focused on, I was actually focused on giving her that memory is what my focus was.
Yeah,
you know?
even better, put it on them so they remember, you know what, my husband, John, he was with me. I know he hates this crap, but he was with me. That meant so much to me. See, that's a giving of yourself to the other person so that they can receive goodness from you. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it. That's just beautiful.
It is beautiful. Hey, Dr. John, can you hang out for a few more minutes with us?
Absolutely. I'm here.
Awesome. Marty, let's get to the fit tip. We're going to come back, keep the conversation going with Dr. John Page about sadness and loneliness during the holiday season and tips and tricks we can get through it with our partners, whether it's hanging out wrapping gifts or just hanging out putting the tree up or whatever we got to do to make them happy. Listen, Marty, that's the fit tip, brother. We'll come back, continue the conversation with Dr. Page.
Let's get it. All right, man. It's that time of the show. We got the fit tip. All right. Now, I understand this is the holidays. You know, we just talked about spending time with your loved ones, spending time with your family, do all of that. I'm doing that, right? But this is not the time to slack, all right? This is not time to get the big back, all right? You have to stay on point. So, listen, enjoy the Christmas meals, right? Even if you might drink a little bit, you might have some desserts, you might eat some unhealthy foods, whatever that is for you, don't go too hard. Don't go too much. We still got fitness goals. And listen, after Christmas is over, we got to get right back to it because we got to get a strong start to the year. So why not build your momentum right now? A lot of people just fall off track for this holiday season, November and December and New Year's. So they got bad momentum going into the new year, and you wonder why you can't hit your goal in the next 12 months. So don't be that person for 2025. So what can we do? We get to the gym ASAP. So it might be December 26th. It might be December 27th. It might be December 28th. Whatever that is for you, make that ASAP gym trip. All right? Get back on your eating plan. So get back to meal prepping. So I know Christmas is on Wednesday? By Sunday, let's get back to our meal preps and get back on your water intake because you're probably not really paying attention to it over the holidays, enjoying your family and enjoying the fun as you should. I'm not telling you not to. But remember those things. Get back in the gym ASAP. Get back to your clean eating. Get back to your water intake. And don't go too crazy, but enjoy yourself. That's the fitness tip for today.
There's the fit tip of the day. Get after, guys. Have some food. But hey, here's the thing. The next day is going to come anyways, right, Marty? So as much as you're crushing that food today, tomorrow's going to be here. So just be responsible and be respectful. And Shinku is right. Unbig back yourself. It's exactly it. Hey, we're hanging out with Dr. John Page, talking holiday gloom and doom. Dr. John, the tactic that I like to use in my head, like how I can convince my brain to get through situations during the holiday season that I find stressful, I just use the power of, it's a simple technique, but it's power of time. And what I say to myself is, man, there's no reason I can't sit here for an hour, 2 or 3 hours with my family, enjoy myself, because, over the next 30, 40, 50, 60 days, whatever it is, these 1 or 2 hours is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Where in the past, I would get so worked up about that time. And it would just eat at me, Dr. John. It would eat at me. I go, oh my God, I go for 3 or 4 hours, which is I had to reframe my head, which is be grateful for that time.
Yeah. It's if you look at it in the long view, right? Always take a longer view of time, because all you have is that present moment, and that present moment may last an hour, 2 hours, but in the scope of things, by January 18th, the 2 hours you spent doing a holiday party gathering isn't going to amount to much in the scope of things. And so if we can take a longer view of our day or of the month or of the week, it can help us put those things in proper perspective so that we can enjoy, to the limit that we can, right? We can enjoy what we're doing with the people that we're doing it with. Absolutely.
Dr. John, the other thing that I think happens during the holiday season is conversations. And as we know, we love to have great conversations here on the show, but we get into situations with our family and our friends where conversations come up that we don't know how to get out of. Let's talk about that a little bit, right? Which is, I'm sitting in a room, and maybe I'm out of sorts because of my mood, because of the environment. And then, my uncle or my cousin or my nephew who's dropped something I haven't seen in a year, and you're like, oh my God.
I got a good answer for this one.
I was just about to chime in, John. Go first. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. Well, I want to hear the man of the hour talk first. I'll go second. You go third, Marty.
That's cool. I'm cool with that.
So Dr. Page, give our men some guidance today, because we got the boys all ready to jump in.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting set up here, but we'll go with it.
Give the men some guidance.
We're probably all three going to have a slightly different answer, because there's never one way. There's plenty of good ways to deal with this situation.
So we have to look no further than the good old classic National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and cousin Vinny comes in and Vinny's dropping the conversations that, oh, he's saying that right now. Yep, he's saying that right now. So Dr. John, what are we doing with the uncle or the cousin that's dropping bombs, and you're like, fuck, are you actually saying that right now?
Yeah, I tend to go toward humor because humor is a great diffuser.
Yes.
Either I'll make fun of him, make fun of myself, make fun of the comment, somehow to kind of bring some laughter into it. Because if we can laugh, it triggers something different in the brain, and it kind of reprograms things for the moment, for those few seconds, and it either helps diffuse my, say, nervousness, or perhaps they said something that made me angry.
Yes.
And if I can start laughing, then I can kind of diffuse myself in the moment. But it also may help diffuse that person where they see, oh God, I said something really stupid. Yeah, you kind of did, bud. Right?
Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah, it is. And because you have some sense of relationship with them, it can be an act of again, caring for them to say, hey, I could have just said you're a stupid dumbass, but I want to bring some laughter into it so that we both can see, that wasn't a great thing to say. And we're laughing instead of, duking it out over the dining table.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about it is in these situations, we usually know who these people are, right? We have an idea of oh, fuck, he's here again. God damn it. This is what. So my advice is to go and engage with that person about something that's positive that interests them. So I get their mind going in the right direction right from the fucking start. And if we cultivate that, they become a great part of the situation, a great part of the event. But you let that poor bastard start talking about the fucking news. You know, next thing you know, his brain is pumping him full of all that, all that chemistry that makes him want to go dark, you know, deeper down that dark rabbit hole. Now you're kind of fucked. This fucking guy is so committed to the wrong side of his brain. You'd have to fucking hit him in the head with a goddamn frying pan and hope for the best, and you still may not be okay. So you gotta spot him, number one, and you got to basically talk to him about something that interests him, not you. He doesn't give a shit about what interests you. That's why he's going to say that dumb shit to begin with. Yeah. Something interests him that's positive, and send him down the right path, and you're going to be just fine.
That's a good technique, Anderson. That's a great technique to give somebody this morning. Marty?
Yeah, I was just going, I mean, mine is simple, you know. It's kind of similar to Dr. John Page, a little bit different, though. First is, you know, it's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm not talking about that today, or I don't want to talk about that today. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you in a heartbeat, man, I'm not talking about that. What they going to do? Put you in timeout? I don't think so. They're going to end up changing the subject eventually. So just tell them, I don't want to talk about that. You know, or, you know, like my family be like, when you going to have kids? We're not talking about that today. All right. We're going to talk about something else. And then hit them with the jokes. And you know, I love the joke. You know, did you drop that weight yet? Did you get the new job yet? No. So why are you worried about me having kids if you ain't where get your own shit right? Yeah. Then the whole dynamic changes, and then they don't ask anything like that ever again.
Those are really great points, Marty, because you also raise up the point where not only do we have the douchey uncles or aunties saying crazy things, and Johnny Anderson gave us some techniques to handle that, but Marty, you raise a point which is, you don't have kids yet, Marty. When are you getting married? When are you having a girlfriend? Or in my case, so how's the business going? Or when are you going to make some money? Or, what's this? You're like, holy fuck, do I got to have these conversations right now? Yeah. Right, Marty? Right? And you're like, so Dr. John, give us some guidance. Give, again, guys going into a room going, oh my God, I got to deal with all these questions again.
Yeah, I mean, redirect, as Johnny said, laughter, all that works. Or just say, you know, I'd love to talk about that, but now's not the time or place. I'm here to celebrate and be with you and enjoy some good times with you. And honestly, when you ask me those kind of questions, it stresses me out, and I'm not here for stress. I'm here for some family relations and some good times. So let's talk about that at a later time. How about that? Is that good for you? And just take it. Take it and just say, we're not doing this right now. We're going to go here. We're going to go here.
And here's the thing. All we got to do is just prey on a little bit of human nature. Yeah. We know how humans act. Yes. And people love to fucking talk about themselves. Yeah. So if they're talking about them, they ain't talking about you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Feed their ego. That's the easy way. Yeah.
You know, Dr. Page, I know some of the things you're dropping, you know, in your brain, you're saying, well, fuck, Keith, this is such simple stuff. But when we're in the moment, it's not. No, right? Like I'm walking into my parents' house and I can see my family, and they're just waiting to ask Keith the question. So how's the business going? Like, for fuck's sake, you guys, fuck off, get out of here. I'll tell you about it when I'm doing. You know what I mean? And it's just like I'm grateful that you're giving us these techniques. Or Marty's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Or Johnny's like, no, let's talk about you. So these nuggets are helpful because we're all going to be going into these situations in the next 48 hours. And we're going to be looking around going, what can I say? What can I say? What can I say? Oh, right. Dr. Jon Page said this. Yeah.
I mean, some of it you can prepare them. I mean, set some expectations before you even arrive. Again, just tell them, hey, look, or tell them ahead of time before you even get there. Business is great. It's going great. I want to be hearing about you. And you can get them prepared.
Yes.
Kind of preset them for what kind of conversation you want to have when you do walk in.
Yes.
And that way it prepares you, it prepares them, and they still may drag it out of you. They still may blindside you out of nowhere. But any of these tips, any of these tricks, these hacks will work to help you. And again, if in fact you are not doing well, you can just say, you know what? It's not going well for me right now, but I don't want to talk about it in the midst of this family conversation.
I love that answer. David Landis.
Honesty is always good.
Yeah. David Landis coming in here. Take responsibility. You can take big charge. Good morning, David. Good to have you here this morning. Good to have you on the show last week as well. But you can be prepared for your parents. Also limit your exposure. So, Dr. John, I got a question for you, brother. So you're the expert here today, but you're also a human. You're also a successful man. Could you share with us maybe when you have gone through this situation, or do you go through the situation, or what are the next 48 hours going to be like for you, Dr. Page?
I mean, my daughters are going to be in town this whole week. And so we'll do our thing, which is pretty low key. They're out of college, so it's not a lot of hoopla and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of questions like from my family because I haven't seen them in a while. I haven't gone back for the holidays of, hey, when you coming back, or when you coming back? We really want to see you. And I just have to tell them, as much as it pains me that I would love to see you more, I do live a 1,600-mile round trip away from you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to get that done. But you remember, I call you a lot. And remember how we had that conversation? And so I help them to remember the good times that we have had over the phone or that kind of thing, to help them see I'm still connected to them. I still love you, and I'm loving you in a way that I can, even though I can't be there with you. But it is tough. I mean, my parents are aging. My mom's got dementia. My dad's caring for her. Luckily, my sister lives next door to them. And so I support my sister a lot and call her often so that she can have the strength to care for them. And that's kind of how we keep it in my family. But it is tough because I know I just can't be there as often as I would like. And so I've come to a level of acceptance of I can do this, and I'm going to do this as absolutely best as I can do. So I will be there 100% right here because that's what I can do.
I want to go here with you, friend. I want to go here with you. You've had to arrive at that level of acceptance in your own head and your own heart. Yeah. Like I have had to, and maybe Johnny has and Marty has with our parents and friends, where it's like, oh man, I wish I could, but I can't because of how life is. Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult for us to reconcile that. So again, looking at you, brother, in your own mirror, how difficult has it been for you to reconcile this for yourself? Aging parents, living farther away. Is it a daily battle for you, or what techniques do you use to bring peace to yourself, Dr. Page?
When my mom first got diagnosed and everything, there was a lot of guilt.
Yes.
A lot of that I placed on myself, but just a lot of guilt from other people because they lived next to their parents or they were in the same town or what have you.
Yes.
And I had to come to the realization of that's their situation. It's not my situation. What's the reality of my situation? I live a time zone away. Okay, that's reality. That's truth. What can I do in the context of that reality that will measure up and be loving and caring? I'm going to talk to my dad a lot. I'm going to call my sister a lot. I'm going to encourage my dad. I'm going to support my sister to the level that I can. And then when I can go out there, I'm 100% there and I'm doing whatever they need done. And so I had to work into that. Probably took a year to kind of get into that, to understand that and grab hold of that, to say, all right, this is what I can do. And this is what I will do. And I will commit to that. And once I got to that level and got to that point, the guilt faded away. And I was able to love the situation that I'm in, knowing I am doing not just the best that I can, like it's some modest effort. I am doing the 100% best I can in the context that I have in front of me.
I think it's important to hear answers like that from guys like yourself, because when we ask fitness questions or lifestyle questions of John or Marty, our ears go up because, they're the expert in that, so we must pay extra attention. But we know John Page is a human. We know Dr. John Page has his own emotions, his own challenges. He has parents. So when I hear you respond to your own vulnerabilities, your own insecurities, I feel like it adds more weight, because it's like, well, if this is what he's doing, then that must be what I can do to help myself through this situation as well. Like I was talking with Lauren last night. My dad's going to be 81 this year. And I'm thinking in my head how, the next 12 months might go. Yeah. Or the next 24 months might go, right? Or the next 36 might go. And I start reconciling, John, in my head, some of the emotions that I might have over the next 12, 24, 36 months. Do you know what I mean, Dr. Page? Where you're kind of...
I mean, it's the reality with aging parents. You're realizing, hey, in the next, by the time my child graduates college, grandpa may be gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the reality of that time, right? We talked about time earlier,
Yes.
is to put that in perspective of, you're right, it probably will. They probably will pass on sooner than later, but they haven't yet. And so I'm going to enjoy the present that I have with them, even though I know it's in the back of my head now that it's coming, but I don't have to get into it right now.
Yeah.
But we can accept that it is, and enjoy. And then in a kind of a roundabout way, it helps us enjoy the time we do have with them. It becomes kind of a richer, deeper time because we know that time is in fact so much more precious now.
Well, and I'll offer this. And I know we got to wrap up here because Jimmy's on me, but this is another conversation for another day. But Dr. Jon, so I'm a father of divorce. There are men out there that are in the same situation that I am in, young kids, old kids, middle-aged kids, having to deal with that whole situation, which is, okay, my kids are here for Christmas. My kids aren't here for Christmas.
Yep.
Family has dissolved in the last 12, 24, 36 months. You know what I mean? Like there's that change in dynamic. And I know what those emotions are like. And I can imagine how it affects other men tuning in, recognizing that, okay, well, my kids aren't here this year and it feels pretty damn lonely.
Yeah. And it is lonely. And that's part of acknowledging of that, of, I wish my kids were with me, but they're not. And if you go down that road, though, you can begin to kind of fill yourself with self-guilt of, well, they're not here because I got a divorce and because I and you need to stop that thought from getting down that road.
It's true.
My kids are not with me this year, but they will be with me next year, or they will be with me at the next time, whenever it is that they're going to come see you.
Yes.
And so you can build the expectation of, it'd be great if they were here. They're not, but I get to see them on whatever that next time is.
Yes.
And so you're acknowledging.
And I bet they're having a wonderful time with their mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it, Johnny. That's exactly it. So, and it's recognized.
The focus, Johnny, that you brought up is on the kids, right? You want your kids to have a good time. So they're going to have a good time with their mother, even though they're not with me. And I get to have a good time with them on whatever that date is. And you can turn it into a more positive frame. Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. Dr. Jon Page hanging out with us here this morning during Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends, our holiday week here with myself, Jon Andersen, and CMartyFit and producer Jimmy. Dr. Page, listen, man, I want to wrap this with really saying this. I got a lot of respect and love for you, brother. You've been on the show now 3 times. You're always dropping nuggets. You're always dropping gold. And you know what? You're just one reliable soul. I reach out to you with questions, you answer. I reach out to say, hey, do you want to join the show? You show up. And I have nothing but love and respect and admiration for that. So as we go into next year, I hope you continue to be on this journey with us. And,
absolutely.
And listen, what would you say to Marty, myself, Johnny, or anybody tuning in right now as we go into the holiday break, John? What would you say?
Keep being yourself. I mean, the reason I love being on the show, all 3 of you are absolutely unique. I love being with y'all. The friends that know me, they're like, you're hanging out with those guys? I'm like, yeah, these are cool guys, man. This is some of the best time I have all month is hanging out with y'all.
Well, that's awesome, Dr. Page. That's awesome.
So keep being yourself. The authenticity of who you are, it's needed. And Johnny, I agree with you. The world needs some unique people. The world needs some leaders. The world needs some people who are not average, so that everybody else can go, I hadn't thought about it that way. It opens doors. It opens up stuff.
And speaking of opening doors, let's create a cut for Dr. Jon Page. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, I was going to say, I showed up to the show. I was just finished with my morning workout, or at least for my brain, and I was just kind of getting settled in. And Keith said, he said your name, and I didn't quite connect the dots at first. When all of a sudden I realized it was you, I was like, fuck yeah, baby, let's go.
Exactly.
Hey, well, Dr. Page, I knew it was you when he said Dr. Page. I know exactly who it was, man.
Yeah.
I don't forget,
it just took a minute for me to connect the dots because I was not in this mode yet when I sat down. But then as soon as I knew it was you, I was like, come on.
I love
come
it.
on. No. You are a brother. You are a fucking treat to have on the show.
Well, and
I appreciate that. This is a great Monday to be with y'all.
And let's wrap up our conversation with Dr. Page with this last question. Dr. Jon Page, What does fine mean for the men tuning in today, walking into their environment and someone says, hey, Dr. John Page, how are you feeling today? Are you fine or are you
kicking ass, baby?
Yeah, because fine
Yeah.
means fucked up,
Fine
insecure.
means, here's what fine means. If you're saying, I'm fine, it means you're fucked up, insecure, nervous, or exhausted.
That's it. You're not fine. Dr.
You're
John
not fine.
Page, always dropping nuggets here in the lab. Much love from the boys. You have yourself a great holiday season. Take care of your parents, take care of your daughters, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon, okay?
You bet. Have happy holidays.
Man.
Happy New Year's.
To you.
Take
Right
care.
on, brother.
Awesome.
Yes. Happy holidays, brother.
Awesome. All right, Jimmy, I got you, man. Thanks for keeping me accountable to the time. We got Johnny Andersen on a lifestyle tip, and then we're going to come back, keep the show rolling, boys. Let's do it. Johnny, you're up, brother.
Christmas is here, and it's very important that we focus on the right shit. Christmas is not about the food. Christmas is not about the presents. Christmas is about the people. Christmas is about the relationships. Christmas is about creating long-lasting memories with the ones you love. So that being said, don't get focused on the wrong shit. And more importantly, tell the people that you love them, irregardless if it's an uncomfortable situation, because life is precious and holidays like this only come once a year. So live in the present, because that is a present for everyone around you. Rock and roll.
Woo, a play on words, live in the presence.
Yes, sir.
Because that is a present for all of you. I like that, Anderson. That's a good one, man. That's pretty fucking good. Good play on words this morning here. And,
Is it a play on words, or is it really actually, is it present really just someone being present with you? Is it really a play on words, or is it just the way that we perceive that word kind of improperly?
yeah, I think it's a word we should be considering using over the holiday break, nation, which is, hey, listen, the present that you have is not necessarily the gift that you bought money for somebody. It's just your presence around somebody.
I said to one of my friend's mothers, right? I said, I was just making a joke. I was going to visit him. I said, I'm gonna shower you with my presents. And I was seeing presents like me. And she said, oh, no, please don't buy me anything. I was like, Jesus Christ, woman, I wasn't talking about that. I'm talking about me. And she's all, that makes a lot more sense,
all right, we're coming back, kicking off second hour here at Morning Live with Keith and Friends. Reloaded. First,
Got to get up out of here, Keith.
I know, John. I know Marty's got to go here. I know we got to rock and roll here,
man. Yes, sir.
Marty,
have a good loop, brother.
Of course, I'm here all week, man.
I know you are. You get after, okay, brother?
I see y'all, man. Have a good
Sure.
one.
We'll talk to you later. Yeah, absolutely.
Right on, brother.
Yep.
We got David Landis coming in. I know life can hurt, power and being present. It's so true, David. And David also said, John, that your kids could go through similar someday. Dads have opportunity to model for them how they work through it. And then Lady Drew jumps in with Dr. John Page's comment saying, hey, a great icebreaker when you come into a room is who farted? Who farted? Yeah, that's listen. The fart.
Everybody's going to look at me. Everybody's going to look at me with that one guaranteed. People say, did you fart? I said, listen, if I fart, I'll be laughing into your face. So I'm not afraid that I fart. I don't hide the fact that I fart. Shit, I throw it around the room.
Fart jokes are never old, man. Fart jokes never die. Now fart jokes are just part of what we do here. So, all right, let's kick off second hour. We got Ioana joining us here in about 15 minutes, Johnny, to wrap up the first hour of the show. And then I got Charlie Last joining me at 8:30 here. And I know you're going to rock and roll out of here. And what's up? We got Shinku Gold jumping onto an airplane. Good job, Shinku. Where are you off to? Let us know where you're going. Speaking of airplanes, Johnny, Marty dropped something up in my feed here this weekend. And Marty's got a roll here, but maybe he's listening to us in the truck. But get this, man. So, Jimmy, we're going to run this X clip just to get a little dialogue with me and Johnny on this one. I found this quite humorous, man. I'm going to pull this up here. So there's a young man out of where's my there's a young man out of Calgary that is going to, there it is right there. Hold on, Jimmy. I got it here. Cool. Check us out, Johnny. Watch this clip. Then I'll talk about it with you.
The arts student flies twice a week from Calgary to Vancouver, saving big
Oh, I
bucks
saw
on
this.
rent.
I need to pay like
Dude.
$2,500 for the rent. I don't
Yeah.
feel that is like, viable.
He pays roughly $150 per round-trip flight twice a week, about $1,200 per month total. That's half the average rent for a one-bedroom in the city.
I thought, why don't I just stay at Calgary and then just fly here? Like, 1 hour flight. That's like.
It's actually pretty.
Well, shit, did you freeze or is that me?
No, we're good. We're good. It's actually pretty brilliant. It's pretty brilliant. Like the guy's like, and I wonder,
but it's a scarcity mindset.
Yes.
I was like, my thought is like, this kid has been programmed properly. Look at all the time that he's taking traveling for a few $100 a month. If you took that time and invested it into something that could pay you, then you would actually be way further ahead. And that's the problem, is everybody's looking at saving pennies. The scarcity mindset focuses on how much money you can save. The abundant mindset focuses on how much basically time you can use to get better.
I had the same thought, Johnny, when I saw that video. I was like, this dude's a 1%er. Like, he's the only guy in the airplane that is going, okay, wait a minute. I did some math and it's better for me to live over here to go over here. Because, Johnny, how many people sit in cars stuck commuting and just haven't decided to take that 1% approach going, wait a minute, it's closer for me to drive to the airport to go here. Because, I know many people, especially here in Winnipeg, to get on the airplane to fly to another city to go watch a Jets game, or I know some folks.
Hold on, are you just so we're on the same page? Are you saying that you think you agree with what he's doing, or you disagree?
Oh, I agree with what he's doing because I agree with you. He's a 1%er. He's like,
I'm saying I'm flipping it around. I'm saying that all the time he's taken for fucking traveling, let's just add up all those hours, and he's saving what, $800-900 a month, something like that. What was it, $1,000 a month?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That $1,000 a month is not worth the time that he's spending in fucking airports walking around where he can't be productive. I'm coming from the other side of the equation. That makes sense?
So I think we're saying the same thing, but I think we're getting there in a little different direction. Let me explain. So,
okay. Yeah, for sure.
I think that the time he's spending in airports and flying, using his time productively, is a good use of his time. So he's saying, okay, I'm going to spend an hour in the airport, an hour in the airplane, so I can be 4 hours ahead instead of sitting around. So I think it's a good use of his time because he's like, to me.
Okay, so maybe I missed this. So he's talking about, I thought the video was he could get an apartment right next to school and walk to school and have all that extra time. It wasn't about him driving versus flying, was it?
No, it's really about so you are correct in the point, which is it was cheaper for him to live in Calgary and fly to Vancouver to school, right? If he then uses that time to his advantage, I think he's further ahead, right? So, but
I like this. But let's break that down. The time that it takes to walk through a fucking airport, just that time alone. That's the time. I mean, like on the airplane's great. I'm productive as a motherfucker.
Yes.
On the cab ride to the airport, some bit productive. But what I would be looking at is a lot of time invested to save, like for example, my middle daughter.
Yes.
Just had this conversation with her. She lives in downtown San Diego. Her rent is $2,800 a month. And she's like, I think I'm going to get a 2-bedroom and have a roommate. I can save about $800. And I'm like, look, you got to remember this. Having a roommate could actually take you out of your groove. Is $800 worth being out of your groove? So it's the mindset of trying to save a little bit to, because the scarcity mindset, we're always looking at these little gains and pennies here and there. The abundant mindset is, no, let's get me in a position where I can really move forward at an efficient rate. These little things don't matter really quickly.
Yeah. So for me, with this young man in Calgary, I'm thinking of him as the abundant scarcity person because he's looking around at everybody going, well, you're all just trying to live there and waste all your money. I'm going to go do things a little differently. I feel like he's ahead of everybody else because he's getting on that airplane. Like my perspective is he's ahead of everybody else in his class because he's getting on the airplane and he's going faster than everybody else.
But he could have an apartment at the school, which is more expensive, right?
He could, yes, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
so what I would tell the young man is, look, let's get that apartment. Don't get a luxury, just live meager, and let's take that time that you would have had to spend in somewhere in that journey. There's unproductive time. Let's take that time, make it productive in this more expensive place to live, which has more opportunity. And before you know it, you will be making that $800 back really quick. But now you've created something, $800. Okay, first maybe you make $1,000 in your whatever you're doing. Then it's 2, then it's 3. You developed something with that time versus just running to an airport to save $800. There's no forward progression with that.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's a fair point. That's a fair point. I'm appreciative how we're both getting to the same to a similar end game here. I think of my parents, frankly, often about this because they're very much about the mindset of I'll change my own oil, I'll do my own things so that I can save the money. Which is, well, no, let's go work a little bit harder, go make some extra money. Right, because I believe that I can always make extra money. I'm always believe there's extra money to be made. Right, so
and I think this thing with the student is
I'm like you, which let's go make more instead.
Yeah, the student is kind of that same conversation. Granted, he's very unique in how he's going about it, which for sure but I just feel like if he's that innovative with his thinking about saving money, he could be that innovative with creating money and be way ahead. He's playing defense rather than offense.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. No, that's an interesting point of view. Like I've known some folks that have actually when Taylor's tour was underway, Taylor Swift's tour was underway, was leaving Canada to fly into places in Europe to go watch her because it was cheaper there than it was watching it here. Now a little different situation, but I to me it's just that it's finding a creative approach to a solution, right? To me, the bigger thing out of this whole conversation is humans' value of time. And how we often don't believe the value of time, eh?
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you have he's in school, right? If he had something that he really wanted to invest his time in, that time would be worth more to him.
Yes. Interesting. Yeah. When we got David Landis jumping in and saying, Keith, great, he's seeing life differently, and John, he can be making relationships that create opportunities. That's a fair comment too, right? So, I would wonder who he's meeting on his travels. For me, Johnny, I think maybe the bigger question out of all this is what kind of community is he not building by not living where his school is?
100%. And it's an expensive place, which means there's more opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, when I graduated college, I came to California. I moved into the second most expensive county in the goddamn country at that point in time.
Yeah.
And it still might be. I mean, granted, I had family there, but I knew that it was going to be tough. But my idea was if I can keep my head above water here as a young entrepreneur, I'm going to be just fine.
Yes. Yeah. Isn't that
Run to it. Don't run from it, man. That's the thing. I mean, the scarcity mindset runs from, the abundant mindset runs to.
Sometimes you can't have both.
No, you can't. There's no such thing. You're one or the other. You can't be a little bit pregnant.
No, no, you can't be a little bit pregnant. You're either all in or
you can't be. You're either abundant or you're scared. You're one of the two. It's like a light switch. There's nothing in the middle. There's no dimmer switch for that thought process. You're either scarcity or you're abundant, and it's crazy. We all get sucked into these scarcity mindsets through negative thought processes, and it's easy to all of a sudden. And most people in the world, they live in that. Okay, I'm gonna sacrifice this time to save that $30 by changing my oil or whatever the fucking oil change costs.
Yeah.
And that's the idea that keeps them exactly where they are.
Well, it's that same mindset of, should I be doing this task when I could have somebody doing the task for pick a number, $5 an hour when my time is worth $100 an hour, just picking easy numbers. Well, I shouldn't be doing this task. Yeah. Often we don't think that way as humans. We just do the task.
Yes. And that's because we're basically kind of, we're raised in a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Like really, but here's the thing. It's crazy. Really, really, really wealthy people are always broke because I shouldn't say really, really wealthy, but a lot of wealthy people stay broke because they don't keep money around. They keep money out circulating because they know they're going to go get more. Then the flip side of the coin is all the people that are scarcity, all they do is save.
So here's what I find fascinating about money, Johnny. I learned this from a good friend of mine. At the end of the day, literally the end of the day, all that matters is the cash in your pocket. That's it. So if you could walk around with honeys in your pocket and have cash flow every single day, does it really matter what's in your bank account? Like if you're walking around 100%. With cash in your pocket every single day, nothing else matters. Actually.
Yeah, money
doesn't actually matter. Nothing else matters. If you walk around with
money, the bank's not making you money.
Yeah. Like I learned that from a good friend of mine, which life is really about cash flow. If you got cash flow, I know I have a lot of accountants and people barking at me going, no, you're thinking about it the wrong way. No, actually, if all I had was cash in my pocket, constantly cash, like a roll of honeys, nobody's complaining.
Yeah, well, you keep in mind, you got a lot of these accountants, like you said, are going to bark at you. It's because they're trained to help the people in a scarcity mindset. Keep in mind, if you live in a world where you get a set amount of money every 2 weeks, and you're not doing anything to have that set amount of money change or grow, whether it's because you're working to get promoted or you've got a side hustle, if that's a set thing, you have a completely different position on money than if you are a creator.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, Johnny, changing gears here. I got a fun topic here to work towards the wrapping up our second hour here. We got Ioana. Hey, Ioana, I see you on the horizontal stream there. I need to get you on the vertical stream as well. I gave you 2 links here, so we're going to get you onto the second one as well. Hey, Johnny, is it better to have sex in the morning or sex in the evening?
Well, I guess it depends on if we're talking about from the standpoint of what's better for your schedule, or we're talking about what's better for your sex life, or are we talking about there's not enough direction in that question to be answered.
According to a survey from sex toy company Love Honey, we referred to them a couple weeks ago as well, more men tend to want sex in the morning between the hours of 6 a.m., while women tend to be in the mood at night between 11 and 2 a.m. There you go. What do you think of that? Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, young people tend to be the night owls and might be more available or interested in sex in the evening. But as a rule, people become more larks as they age. They like to go back to bed earlier and probably more interested in sex in the morning, right? But is there actually a best time? And this article talked to some sex experts, and the reality was there is not a best time. But, those feel-good neurotransmitters such as endorphins and dopamine are released during sex. So some guys, like some humans, like to have sex because it's just a nice way to roll over and go to bed at night. Where some folks like to get up and have that energy of, okay, let's get it going. Let's get that dopamine release, endorphins release, and then off we go to start the day. So, the science says, Johnny, there's not a best morning or evening. It comes down to personal preference, but there's actually some conversations around it, and folks are, is there one better than the other?
Well, I think people need to stop worrying about one better than the other and just get the job done. Whether it's people having sex, what was the statistic? It was very little. If you stop worrying about when's the best time and just go get down, you need to be focused on the application. Let's go get it done.
And then the article also talks about, and the experts also talk about, Johnny, this last point, which I like to throw on the table here, which is don't forget, nation, about those afternoon delights. So whether you got the morning on the schedule or the evening on the schedule, what's also a lot of fun, Jon Andersen, is surprising your partner with an afternoon delight to bring some magic back to the fun, whether it's Terry time, Lauren time, or just any kind of life expectancy work. It's mixing up in the middle of the day, which keeps everybody on their toes.
I don't think that there's ever a wrong time.
No, there's no, dude. There's never a wrong time.
If it works, then it's not a wrong time.
That's right. That's right. It's not a wrong time ever. Speaking of wrong time, let's get to a good time, Johnny. We got a guest coming up here in the lab here. Jimmy, let's bring in Ioana into the lab here this morning. And Ioana, I don't know if I'm saying your name properly, so I need to help me say your name so I can get it out of the way. Is it Ioana?
It's Ioana. The I is like an E. Ioana.
Ioana. Can you say the whole name for me, Ioana?
Oh, Ioana Manzuridou Onassi.
Can you say that again for us? Today we have on the show
Ioana Manzuridou Onassi.
Yes, Johnny.
Yeah, that's one of those names that, if I was doing some sort of announcing, I would be backstage talking to you about some sort of a nickname.
That's actually funny because I did have a nickname. I used to say, because in English it translates to Joanna or Joanne. And so I did it Joe when I first came to the States. But people thought I'm a guy before we met because Joe is usually a guy's name. And I'm like, you know what? That won't work. Let me go back to my real name.
No kidding. So, Ioana, you're in New York. You're the co-founder and CEO of Dextego, the future of go-to-market, human first, sharing your Gen Z founder insights to accelerate your journey. You're an applied generative AI thought leader and entrepreneur. Talk a little bit about Dextego, Ioana.
Yes, absolutely. So the name stems from dexterity and ego. I believe one needs, self-awareness in order to accept that they need some development. What Dextego does is helps people develop their soft skills, or else known as human skills, like communication, negotiation, leadership, the skills that really make the difference. And we really are focused now on sales, specifically giving sales a good name. For the most part, people try to avoid speaking to sellers, but I think it's a very honest and very difficult profession, and you need to be super skilled if you want to do it right. So we try to help people build trust with their prospects, shorten their sales cycles by truly knowing how to communicate the value proposition of whatever they're selling and match it to the needs of their prospect. So that's kind of the gist of it, starting with sales, but expanding to other client-facing roles like customer success and marketing as well very soon. And on the Gen Z side, as you said, I'm a Gen Z founder. I'm trying to share insights to other young entrepreneurs so that I can accelerate their journeys.
Yeah. So I noticed that you promote big time, that you're a Gen Z founder.
Yes.
Talk to John and I what that means to you, and secondly, why you emphasize that within your profile.
Yeah, you can emphasize anything that makes you different. It could be me emphasizing the fact that I'm a woman or the fact that I'm an immigrant, but this is irrelevant to me. What really makes me want to shout the fact that I'm a Gen Z founder is to showcase that there is indeed a need to bring a fresh perspective in how we do things. Not only generally in business, because now everything is digital, but in particularly when it comes to learning, because managers and even professors have been teaching the same ways for years, although generations and their priorities and the way they get taught has evolved. So it takes a new, fresh, blood to educate the new generation. And that's why I think I'm a great fit for Dextego and what I'm doing. And I'm also proud of it because it comes with many challenges, as you can imagine. So I want to make clear that I'm not like an expert with tens of decades of experiences, but I'm coming in with the attitude that, hey, I understand what needs to be done, and I'm working hard, and I'm bringing the right people next to me to make it happen.
Yeah.
There we go.
I like that. We got some comments coming in from the feeds here. As per our previous conversation, Johnny and Ioana, we got Lady Drew Bigger saying, I enjoy making love anytime. Yeah, true story. Stretches and exercise is wonderful mentally and physically. And David Landis is hanging out listening to with Tracy right now. David, so listen, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, it's the week of holidays, man. We got to get in the life expectancy work here to whether it's morning sex.
Hey, brother, you know what we forgot? We forgot to give me my piss break. I'm starting to wiggle here.
Yeah. You go for a piss break. I'm going to keep the conversation going with Ioana. Yeah, there we go. Get out here, brother. Do it. So Ioana, you mentioned sales, and you mentioned that working with founders, especially in the Gen Z space. Why do folks struggle with sales so much, from your point of view?
And because people are not taught how to have a conversation, and sales is a human game. It's just talking to somebody and understanding what they need and trying to ask, second and third questions to dig deeper into whatever they answer the first time. And unfortunately, most training so far, whether it's online or at a corporate job, is, hey, this is how you move a deal in your pipeline in CRM. Here is your cold call list. Go make your calls and figure it out. And that's not setting them up for success.
So how would you set somebody up for success? I'm calling you up. I'm a Gen Z founder. I'm looking to grow my business, but I suck at sales. Set me up for success, Ioana.
Yes. So our software is really rooted into experiential learning. So we would create, what's called the simulation, like a practice for you acting like if you have a persona, let's say you sell to a city or whatever, you're going to put that in Dextego, and it's going to ask you different questions. You're going to do role play. You're going to do objection handling so that you're much more prepared when you actually speak to that CDO in real life. It will see your facial expressions, your tone, your confidence, your persuasiveness, and analyze what you did great and what you can improve, giving you now the self-awareness too, because most people think, they said things one way and apparently they came across very differently. So now it gives you that opportunity to reflect on how you actually did and probably change a little bit, maybe your tone, or let's say add some more analytics if the persona you're speaking to is more of an analytical person. Mm-hmm. So practice makes perfect. That's what I think.
Practice does make perfect. We're big fans of putting the reps here in the lab here, Ioana. As you're looking at 2025, what to you is the biggest challenge for your business? What's your biggest challenge, you think, for your customers or people in your circle as they look towards 2025? Ioana, biggest challenges.
Now with data being democratized because of access to Gen AI, I think there is a big confusion in the market where people are being bombarded by automations, by tools. I'm sure you also get a bunch of unsolicited emails on a daily basis, right? So people are very confused. They don't know what's the right answer, but also they don't have the time to figure it out. So there's a lot of, I think, mistrust. And my goal and what I tell people right now, instead of going forward, you kind of have to take a step back and think, okay, how have I done business for the last years? Through people I know, through people I trust. So start there. And by default, all the options will be very much minimized to a few. So instead of just saying, okay, I'll go and try a million tools and see which one works, don't get into that trap, right? Just say, okay, what do I really need to fix in my business? What are some solutions for that? And don't have FOMO. I think that's what's going on with the world right now. Everybody wants to try everything. Everybody wants to be ahead. And it creates, I think, a lot of struggles with mental health. So we'll just say, go back to the basics and think through what you really need to propel your business or your job, whatever role you have. What is one thing you can do, not like a million, and do it strategically.
Ioana, Jon has young daughters. Did I see correctly in your post, Ioana? Forgive me, are you 25?
26, yes.
Dude, successful entrepreneur, doing your thing. What set you on the path of going down your own journey instead of the journey that most take, which is school, go get a job, do somebody else's path? You chose your own path.
Yeah. I think some stuff happened for a reason. And in fact, when I graduated, I thought I was going to go into consulting, and I was applying, and I was not getting an interview. And then I got an opportunity to work in a startup where I very quickly went up the ladder, and I was able to work next to the CEO and saw how everything was working. And I just loved it. I loved the complexity. I loved the challenge. You work with very restricted resources.
Yes.
You have, to be basically ahead of everybody at any point in time, even when others don't see that vision, and read the market. So I got really the bug there, and I wanted to start something on my own. However, I knew since I was young, I wanted to be my own boss. I want to be an entrepreneur, but I couldn't imagine, 10 years ago it would be in tech and specifically in AI, because back then I was more into fashion and thought I would be a designer and, do very different things than what I do today.
So what changed in your journey? Like, so did a light go on in your path? Was it influence from parents or what changed in your journey? Which is like, okay, I guess I'm not going to fashion. I guess I'm going to be in tech.
Yeah. So at college, so I did my master's on talent development and strategic management, and talent development really combined all my interests in business and psychology, because you have to find the right people for the right roles and really develop them continuously by giving them what's called stretch assignments, so they never get bored and they never leave. And this is also very complex in a world where talent is very scarce. So that's through that role I joined the startup I mentioned. And while I was training people, I realized that, hey, what really makes the difference is these soft skills. I don't care if you know XYZ software. I care that I can put you in a room and you know how to represent us and you know how to have a conversation, you know how to deliver. And basically, as a startup, your asset is your people, because there's no way you can differentiate, let's say, on a feature, on a technical standpoint, when a company can have hundreds of engineers and can do it in half the time. Really what sets you apart is your core, your personality, the way you perceive the world. And I was telling myself, that is just so hard to teach. Like, how do we teach people these things? Especially if they haven't been taught how to communicate or collaborate since they were a kid. How you change the person, like midlife. And I went back to thinking, what has made the biggest impact in me? When I came in the States when I was 15 for a summer program, I remember everything we did was experiential. Like, it was never just sitting in a class and hearing someone speak. It was doing and then reflecting on that doing. And that's where the biggest learnings came. And that translates to everything. We learn from failure. We learn, from things that we actually do. And even if someone tells us because they went through it, it doesn't matter. Unless we go through it, we won't really learn the lesson. And so that's where everything came about. And I said, this is such an important thing. No one is doing it. And everybody who's trying is doing it wrong, because it's engraved again in the old ways of, hey, I'm assigning you a course online, or I, the manager, make you do something, versus learning has to be user-centric. You as an individual have to have the intrinsic motivation to come to it, to learn, because you know it's going to make you better. And that's, another big challenge I thought it's worth trying to resolve, like trying to make people want to care about their own development.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, you're hanging out with Ioana Manzuridou Onassi here this morning with Keith and John here, Mornings and Alive with Keith and Friends. We're wrapping up with Ioana. We had a quick conversation with Dr. John Page here today, which is about holiday gloom during the holiday season. How do you approach the holiday season? Happiness, gloom, or stoic?
I think I'm in the middle. It's about reflection, right? I like to journal and think of what went right and wrong.
Good. Awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you hanging out with us here this morning on the show. I know we connected over on LinkedIn, and I said, hey, why don't you come hang out with us? You jumped in for a 15-minute coffee with us. Any parting words for our audience before we say goodbye to you this morning?
It's happy holidays. I wish everybody health, wealth, successes, and happiness.
Awesome. Ioana Manzuridou Onassi, I'm appreciative, very grateful for you hanging out this morning. We'll stay in touch with you on the LinkedIn feeds, and we'll connect with you along the way, okay?
Take care, guys. Take care. Bye.
Awesome. Take care. All right there. Ioana's out of here. Looks like we're wrapping up here. Johnny's going to make his way out of here. Johnny's going to go put up a tree here today. What else you got on the agenda today, buddy?
It's basically just time with the fam. I'm gonna obviously I'm gonna handle some business this morning. And when they wake up, then it's just focus on them.
Nice. All right, pal. Listen, I appreciate you. I appreciate the fun we had this morning. 90 minutes in the books. I'm going to hang out for Charlie last. I think Charlie's joining us in a couple minutes here, Jimmy. If not, we're going to wrap up here soon as well. But Johnny, enjoy the tree here today, brother. I got some stuff here to do today. I'm going to hang out with my family as well, and gonna have a nice week. Looking forward to the week. And I love the conversation with Dr. John Page, man. He's a goat, eh? He's good.
Yeah. No, me saying what I said about not connecting the dots about his name was like a massive compliment, because once I realized, holy shit, this is who it is, I was excited.
Well, you know what's funny too is we got Lady Drew Bigger here, and she says, I enjoy, you talk about terminology, Johnny. I love it. She says, I enjoy making love. Nobody uses that term in 2024, making love.
Yeah, very true.
It's very just not a term that's used anymore, right? So, all right, pal, you enjoy your day today. Enjoy the family with the girls and Terry. Enjoy the tree, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Okay, brother?
Have a good loop, brother.
All right, take care, brother. All right, Johnny's out of here. Jimmy, we're going to keep it going here, pal. We're going to see if Charlie Lass is going to be joining us here this morning. I know we had plans with Charlie here this morning for at this time, but I don't see him in the feeds, Jimmy. Do you see him in the feeds, Jimmy? I don't think we see him in the feeds here. So, if Charlie's not showing up, we're going to be wrapping up here in a few moments. I'm going to do some checking on the old phone-a-roni, see if we have any emails in the inbox, which I suspect that we don't, which is okay. Let's see here. Nope. Okay. All right. You're catching the dead air here, nation. You're catching the dead air in between scenes here. No email, no DM. You're right, Jimmy. So I think what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to work towards wrapping up here today. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I guess it's going to be the plan. We'll be back tomorrow. Myself, Jimmy, Walter, Johnny, Marty. I'm just having a look here inside the calendar, guys, to see what's shaking. Maybe Adam's going to join us tomorrow. Hold on a second here. There he is. Oh, yeah. There's Charlie Lass. David Landis. We're not going anywhere just yet. We got Charlie joining us over on the horizontal. We're going to bring him on the vertical stream as well. Oh, yeah, Jimmy, we didn't do the creator spotlight yet either, man. That's right. We got to get that going here today, too. Let me see here. Boop, boop, boop. Just moving buttons. All right, Charlie, I see you on the horizontal. We're going to get you up here on the vertical stream as well there, Charlie.
Awesome.
There he is. What's going on, Charlie Lass?
How you doing?
Haha, good to see you here, man.
Great to see you too.
Charlie Lass joining us from
Humble Inc.
Humble Inc. Yes, I know, but where are you joining us from today? You're in London, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm in the Caribbean.
Oh, you're in the Caribbean. Oh, where in the Caribbean are you?
Antigua.
Oh, very nice. All right. We got Charlie Lass joining us from Antigua here this morning. We celebrated Charlie a few weeks ago in the Creator Spotlight Community Corner, and we got Charlie here today paying it forward. Dude, we had a good conversation with Dr. John Page this morning about holiday gloom during this week. As got guys waking up, women, guys, myself, guys waking up this week going, oh, it's Christmas time. It kind of stressing me out. Yep. Do you go through those things, Charlie?
I used to. I really used to. It used to be a miserable time of year for me. But now, this year, I'm pretty excited. It's a bit different celebrating Christmas in the Caribbean. I've just rushed back from doing all the Christmas shopping. I've got like 20 people coming over tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got I'm cooking 4 roast turkeys.
Dude. So tell me your journey. Why was this stressful for you, and how did you make it not a stressful experience?
Well, that's interesting. It's actually sort of my origin story, or Humble's origin story. So I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. And in 2022, after the tagline I use is I've had 4 launches, 3 exits, and a nervous breakdown.
Yes.
And it was that last one that I dragged this business through COVID, supporting 14 families, trying to find the money every month, just typical startup stuff, but it had built and built and built within me that eventually one day, beginning 2022, I cracked. Something happened that normally I would have been able to deal with, and I wasn't able to recover from it at all.
Really?
I was like immobile for like a month. Couldn't do anything. I had to take 6 months off. It was a horrible situation, and I see people going through it. And when we look at, the holidays as a time to reflect on what we're doing. But also, sadly, it's a chance for us to compare ourselves to other people.
Yes.
And we do that so hard. And
unfortunately,
you're like, oh, this guy's doing really well. You don't know the origin story. You don't know people's backstories. And so when you see other people who have this sort of perfectly put together social media stream, or it all looks so fantastic, you don't know how they got there or what they're really feeling at the time. So that's, when I recovered and I looked at myself like, I'm a white British man with a degree from MIT, and with all this experience, and it still happened to me, I've got to do something to help other people. So that's why Humble as a content platform launched, because it's a resource of vetted information. It's not some 15-year-old giving financial advice on TikTok. All that bullshit is just, it's too much. So created one place where people can actually find real, true information.
I love Humble. I love the name. When I came across you to create a spotlight and you named it Humble, I was like, whoa. Like there's a lot of humility in that name. How did you arrive at that name? What was it? Your own mirror reflecting on your own humility? Was it really that kind of moment? It was, wasn't it? It was real.
Because, and I've, in my upcoming book, which is called Unstoppable Humility. It's really all about that. You can pretend to have everything, and you can treat people poorly and flash cash around like so many people do. Yes. But there's no truth to it. There's no honesty and integrity to it. And you just make other people feel bad to make yourself temporarily feel good, and then afterwards feel like crap. So being humble about how we got here, what we were given at the beginning, because not everyone starts at the same place. It's not, Monopoly, where everyone's given the same $1,500. Different advantages are available to different people. And, the race is only with yourself in the end.
I got to tell you, Charlie, you meant, so I'd like to consider myself a pretty humble person, a lot of humility. I will tell you though, through my journey, I know I made people feel uncomfortable with cash in my pocket and just throwing cash around. And I had to learn how that made others feel, and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, walking through the casinos in Vegas or walking around places, just, oh, yeah, $100 here, $100 there. And people are like, and they're looking at you like you're just throwing this money around with no value. Right. Which is in your mind, you're going, well, no, but I want to, it's okay. I'll take care of it, Charlie. It's okay. I'll take care of the meal. It's okay. I'll take care of your gambling. When in reality, you're making that person feel pretty damn uncomfortable, aren't you, Charlie?
Yeah. Yeah. That can happen. I mean, and yeah, those specific situations, what you think is kindness.
Yes.
Can actually make people feel really small.
Yes.
And it sucks. Dude, I've done that too. I'm slightly ashamed to say that I've done that, but it was from a position of, love.
Yes.
I wasn't trying to make people feel stupid.
Yes.
It's when you see people like belittling others for no reason, I think that person has got some issues they need to, like Elon Musk. He maybe needs a hug. Yes. Not from me, but,
and you raised the point, and I'm going to challenge you a little bit. You said a little bit ashamed of that. I don't know if that's the right term, because I've had to reconcile that I wasn't ashamed of it. I had to learn about it.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because I think just reflecting on calling it shame is just an easy thing, which is, well, no, hold on a second here. It's actually, wait a minute. Maybe there's a better way to go about showering my love or appreciation, not just flashing the honeys around in the cash, knowing that it's making other people feel uncomfortable. Right. But I want to do it. I want to do it. But no, there's a way to go about it. Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's a really good point, because if it was deliberate, then yes, I suppose shame. But if you're just, you're trying to be nice and it comes across in the wrong way, that's a bit different.
Yes. Well, and that's why I come back to Humble. When I heard you started this job called Humble, and then I looked into your journey, at least what I was able to see, I was like, wow, this guy has had a journey, right? Yeah. And when I look at your mental health situation, I didn't realize that you were stuck for about a month.
Yeah, I mean, a month, a really intense month, but I was also, I consider myself really fortunate to have gone through that intensity, that intense moment, that it stopped. It finally, I was like, okay, I got to deal with this. There were so many people who are, maybe on the same path, are heading in that direction and don't realize it.
Yeah.
And last year, a friend of mine he's a trader, and he was using the same phrases that I was using when I was in a really dark place. And I'm like, bro, you got, like, here's a word of warning. I was saying that stuff to myself and to other people. And when your life insurance is up to date and you think you're in the way, your mind goes into horrible places, and he was doing that. I was like, you got to get some help, talk to someone, and he's better now. But for me, like actually hitting that brick wall was kind of a blessing. It changed my perspective completely.
But Charlie, it's hard for us men to ask for help.
Yes, it is. It's why most like 95% of homeless people around the world are male.
Yes,
because we're just like, oh no, I got to power through. I got to be Superman.
Who did you ask for help when you needed help?
Well, I didn't. That was the problem. But it all came crashing down. And then after the fact, when I said to people, I was like, this is the situation. They're like, you're a fucking idiot. Why didn't you say something? Like, we'd have helped. We'd have rallied around. We'd have flown to see you. We would have done something. And so, yeah, people, and you know what? Help comes from the weirdest places. It's not always the people that you feel are the closest or who are the most likely to reach out and give you support. Sometimes people who are really close to you back away. They feel uncomfortable. But it's, sometimes it's strangers who want to help.
Well, it's interesting you said, because last week we had a show, Charlie, about our strangers, our best accountability partners. And I would argue that yes, they are, because they know you. There's no feelings to hurt. They just know you have a goal and they're here to help you achieve it. Very similar that if you're in a low spot too, right? Because if they truly are a human that cares about you as a human, they have no perception about what you can or cannot be. They just want to help you.
Right. There's no social contract there.
Exactly.
They're showing up in that moment because they want to, or they feel that they can provide some value. And I say that actually about people who are launching new ideas. I mean, the general concept behind Humble is that we can launch an idea in 30 days. Just cut through all the noise, bang, get it out there. The most important thing is to not do it in secret, is to ask people what they think. Get that validation before you start spending money and time. And if you ask your friends and family what they think of your new idea, they will say what they think you want to hear, which is, that's great. Yeah, fantastic. Yes. You know what you should be talking to? You should put it on Reddit. People who really want to tear people down. And if they think it's a good idea, then you're good.
That's good advice. Go out to Reddit, drop your idea out there. But you know what the funny thing is, Charlie? I know you get this too, like I get it. I got it 2 weeks ago. Hey, Keith, I got this idea, man, but I don't want to tell anybody. Should I get an NDA in place? And should I get people to sign up for it? Because I'm afraid somebody in China is going to steal it. No.
Never. No. People don't steal ideas. People steal companies. And someone listening might be like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, well, that's been said too. But if your idea is so easy for someone you don't know to just take, then it's not worth pursuing because it's not protectable in the first place.
Well, yeah. And we both know, Charlie, as successful entrepreneurs, ideas are aplenty. Executing on an idea is the whole reason Humble exists, right? Because execution is the hardest thing for every human being to do, which is taking that idea and making it come to life. I said to this fellow, I said, buddy, don't spend any money on lawyers. Don't spend any money on contracts. Don't spend any money on anything that you think you should spend money on. And either go and talk to some people or go sell something first. He's like, but they're going to steal the idea. No, go and sell something. But how do I take the money? Go figure it out. Go put but
Venmo, like PayPal. You can accept cash.
Yeah,
it still exists.
But because I have been one of them, Charlie, which is I spent a bunch of money on lawyers and contracts and setting up all the foundation, and then I'm not selling anything. Wait a minute. The only people that made money was my accountants and my lawyers.
Right. I've done that.
We all have, right?
Yeah. I've like, so one of the big myths about startups, about career in general, is there's this trap of passion.
Yes.
Like, I believe in it so wholeheartedly that other people must as well. And you just go full force and like, da-da, look what I built. And everyone's like, we don't care. We don't want that.
So what?
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, but I spent all my money doing that. And you're like, well, that was stupid. You shouldn't have done that.
Charlie, how did you end up in Antigua, man? And why Antigua? Why not Bahamas? Why not Jamaica? Why not? Why and how did you end up in Antigua, brother?
I used to live in Texas, and I was here on holiday.
Austin, Texas, yeah.
Yeah, and I was here on holiday last year, and I got back to Texas. And I was like, I don't want to be here. I just, we just left.
Simple as that. You're like, what the hell am I doing here? You moved.
Yep. Bye-bye. It took us literally 3 weeks later, put the house on the market. Done. Bye.
You said us. Who was us?
My wife and I.
Oh, yeah. Children?
No, that was why it was easy.
Oh, yes, of course.
Right.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're working remotely, why work from somewhere you don't want to be?
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah, it's not all beaches and boats. You know, the Caribbean is great to visit. It's actually quite difficult to live in it. Like, things aren't convenient at all.
Do tell.
Well, I mean, the things that we've all become incredibly accustomed to. Oh, I need this thing. I'm just going to get it on Amazon. It'll be here in an hour.
No.
No. Like, did the ship arrive this week that might contain the thing? No, it didn't. Okay, well then wait until next month.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's simple. Sort of like, there's not a postal system.
Amazon Prime redefined by Charlie Last.
Exactly.
It's coming on the next boat whenever the boat gets here.
Right, exactly. Maybe. And certainly not in hurricane season.
Oh, man. Listen, before we get to the creator spotlight, I got a big question for you. What does 2025 look like for Charlie Last and Humble? And here's how I want to play the answer.
Okay.
It's December 3rd, 2025. What has the last year looked like for Charlie Last and Humble?
Ah, right. So I'm not a big one for making New Year's resolutions. I'm a big one for making plans.
Yes.
So I have, I'm doing a big
come through. So we're 12 months into this thing. What's happened?
Big moves on personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
And we have launched a new feature with Humble, which allows experts in anything business related to offer their time to anyone. So you can book a slot with someone like you. Like, hey, how do I launch a successful podcast?
Yeah.
You would book it. Someone would book a time with you. So, like, providing access to people who have specific questions. Yeah. And then for my side, I've got the book coming out. Humble Season 2 podcast is coming out, and I'm really doing a big push on my speaking stuff. I want to go talk about mental health and thinking like a founder. That's what I'll be doing.
Oh, I like that. Will you come hang out with us throughout the year and tell us how your journey's going?
Yeah, of course.
That's
absolutely
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So listen, do you have a name for us today to celebrate? Creator Spotlight?
What do you mean?
Do you have somebody you want to celebrate today?
Oh,
I have somebody if you don't.
I don't actually. I've come unprepared. I'll have to think about that and come back to you.
That's okay. So I have somebody who you're going to hang out with me right now, just like I celebrated you a couple weeks ago. I have somebody that I wanted to put on the old Creator Spotlight here this morning, and I am going to find that human being here. Jimmy, I'm going to find the human being right now, brother. I have it here.
Jim, I just sent you a message. I dropped the ball on that one.
No, that's okay. That is okay.
Actually, no, I do have a guy. Who I believe is the best designer in the world.
Okay.
And he needs a shout out. His name is Ronak Rai. He's based in Delhi. He and I have been working together for the last 5 years.
How do you spell his name?
Ronak, Ronakray.
Let's see here. Ronak.
He is absolutely amazing. He designed all of the
Ronak Rai? Ronak Rai?
Yeah. Visuals for Humble, for Dallas Inc., for the comparison company, for my website.
Great. So Jimmy, I got Ronak here. We're gonna do this here. We're gonna do this right now. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna find out. Boop boop boop. Oh, this is fun. I like when we do stuff. I like when we build the airplane when we fly. All right. So this morning, Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends is going to celebrate somebody. Charlie Last we celebrated a couple weeks ago. So Charlie knows how this works. So Charlie, we are going to take a moment to celebrate somebody from New Delhi, India. This person today, Creator Spotlight, Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends, is Ronak Rai. Taking ideas from 0 to 1. Charlie Last is celebrating you, Ronak. Why are we celebrating Ronak Rai here today, Charlie?
Because I fundamentally believe that he is the best designer in the world. He needs a shout out. He's trying to build his own personal brand now as well.
Dude.
He has helped. Yeah, he's helped me build probably 30 that we consulted with 30 different companies, built their brands. He's built Humble. He's built Dallas Inc. He's built the comparison company. He's built my personal brand. He is absolutely amazing. So reach out to him, work with him if you possibly can, because he's absolutely incredible.
Ronak Rai, you heard the words from Charlie last year. We want to celebrate you. Come out to the lab here with us and hang out with us one day on the show, and so we can celebrate all the great work you're doing. I'm looking at the work you're doing here, and you're doing some great shit, man.
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible, and he can do anything. He's on the design for my new book. He's got 2 of his own design books. He wants to help, and he's phenomenal at what he does.
How did you guys meet, Charlie?
We met 5-6 years ago. It was we were working on a design for a drinks. Actually, Humble Wine was back in the day. And he did design for that. That's how we met.
That's awesome. I like his style. I like how he comes across here, and I'm gonna knock on his door and you know what, Charlie? When you find somebody you like working with, you just want to wrap your arms around them and keep them close, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can relate. You're like, oh yeah, you're not going out, you're not going anywhere. Yeah,
exactly.
All right, Jimmy, listen, we're going to wrap up with Charlie here this morning. Charlie Last from Humble, our creator spotlight here this morning on Mornings in Lab with Keith and Friends. Charlie, what do you got going on for the week here, brother? You got big plans for the Christmas week?
Yeah, I've got 20 people coming over tomorrow.
Yes, you do. Yeah,
I got to get my chef's hat on.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
All right, guys, listen, we're going to rock and roll. We're going to get out of here with Charlie. Charlie, I appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. Come to celebrate Ronak Rye here, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. The only morning show to help you get your ass out of bed. If you haven't subscribed, I invite you to do so.
Yes,
listen, we put Men's Health, Men's Journal, Howard Stern, some old FM radio into a bucket, bring it alive in 2024, and you got Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. So I'm really grateful you hung up with you this morning. I'm grateful you took took a little fun we had with you a couple weeks with the
that's fantastic. Yeah,
and we're going to keep doing that. So you come see us again, okay, brother?
Yeah, I will, absolutely.
Awesome.
No, I'm not. Yeah, cool. Thanks so much.
We're going to cut some content up for you. Going to drop it into your feed here, and you can spread the word on the great stuff that Charlie Last doing with Humble, okay?
Yep. If I cancel now, is it going to delete everything, or am I just free to go?
No, you're just free to go. You can get out of here. We'll see you later.
Thanks, guys.
All right, pal. See you later, Charlie.
Bye.
All right, Charlie's going to get out of here, Jimmy. We're going to keep rock and rolling the show to the end here with Keith Bilous, Mornings in the Lab with Keith Friends. Jimmy, that was fun, man. Charlie's a fucking rock star. Finds Antigua's like, I'm going to stay here. We're going to move to Antigua. So there he is. And we celebrated Ronak Rye for the creator spotlight here this morning with Mornings in the Lab. But listen, we're going to get out of here. Yep, it's time to go. Coming up to the bottom of the second hour. The only morning show to get you guys moving. We're here all week. All week. So regardless of what denomination you are, whether you're celebrating Christmas or not, need some help getting your day started, we're here. So it's time for me to get out of here. Take the robe off, put some gym gear on, go get my second lift in. Got the cardio done. Yeah, took care of the heart, took care of the brain. Now I'm going to go and take care of the muscles. But before we do that, we're going to do this. Jimmy, let's get out of here. We'll see you guys some more. Mornings Live with Keith and Friends, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Myself, Johnny, Marty, and whoever else shows up. We'll see you guys tomorrow.